relationship with long-term debt. Profitability has a positive relationship with long-term debt ratio. Travinsky has a positive relationship with long-term debt. Firm H has a negative relationship with long-term debt ratio. Asset tangibility has a positive relationship with short-term debt ratio. Non-debt tax has a positive relationship with short-term debt ratio. Liquidity has a positive relationship with short-term debt ratio. Firm size has a positive relationship with short-term debt ratio. So moving on to regression table. So here are the results. Asset tangibility has a positive impact on long-term debt ratio. Liquidity has a positive impact on long-term debt ratio. Similarly, non-debt tax yields have a positive impact on long-term debt ratios. Firm size has a positive impact on long-term debt ratio. Similarly, profitability has a positive impact on long-term debt ratio. Tarbinsky has a positive impact on long-term debt ratio. And age has a negative impact on long-term debt ratio. So moving on to next table. So here are the results of this table. So it shows that asset tangibility has a positive impact on short-term debt ratio. Non-debt tax yields has a positive impact on short-term debt ratio. Size has a positive impact on short-term debt ratio. Profitability has a positive impact on short-term debt ratio. Tarbinsky has a positive impact on short-term debt ratio, and Firm H has a negative impact on short-term debt ratio. So this is all from my side. For further presentation, I would like to call Ayush. Thank you.
The summary and conclusion. Capital structure can be defined as a combination of debt and equity to finance a firm. Capital structure generally focuses on how firms decide to finance their assets between many sources. There are many theories such as pecking order theory and trade-off theory that guide how a firm's capital structure should be. The decision about the capital structure of a firm is determined by many factors that can be grouped mainly under main three categories, which are firm specific, industry specific, and country specific factors. These factors include size of the firm, profitability, corporate tax, bankruptcy costs, industry type, internal policies of the firm. The major conclusion of this study is that assets, tangibility, liquidity, non-debt tax shields, firm size, profitability, Tobin's Q, and firm's age on long-term debt ratio have positive effect on long-term debt ratio and short-term debt ratio. The study concluded that profitability followed by liquidity is the most influencing factor that explains the changes in the long-term debt ratio in the context of Nepalese non-financial firms. The study also concluded that non-debt tax shields followed by profitability is the most influencing factor that explains the changes in the short-term debt ratio in the context of Nepalese non-financial firms.
Okay, next slide.
Scope for future research.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other slide? Next. Skip this one. Okay, skip this one. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Very good. I have only one question from my side. What is the term period which you have taken to analyze these? It is up to 23 June or July you have mentioned.
The study period was 8 years.
8
So,
years.
yes.
Acha, in fact, see, last 3 papers in a similar area. Just I want to ask whether you have studied the impact of COVID-19 during that period. Have you analyzed?
No, sir. We.
So you mentioned it in the scope for further research,
Yes.
right?
So we only went through the annual reports of the company. That did not include this.
No, no.
They might have included that factors
But you
in
have
there.
not considered that. You have not.
Don't have.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yes. Okay, you have estimated regression equation, so I don't know about the theory
Okay.
which you have used in your model, because management is not my subject. So what should be the dependent variable and what are the independent variables and what are the determinants, that should be guided by the theory. That I don't know. But you have estimated the regression equation and you have calculated the t values as well, right?
Yes.
And when calculating the t values, whether you have used two-tail test or one-tail test?
It was one-tailed, not two-tailed. So in our hypothesis, we have mentioned that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So talking about the theory, we have based this model based on pecking order theory. It shows that the company will prefer the internal sources of funding if available. If internal funding is not available, firms will go for first debt and followed by the equity. So this is the theory. Based on this theory, we have developed the model.
Okay, that's fine, because when I show the hypothesis, you are talking about positive relationship.
Yes.
And etc. So in that case, you should
One-tailed.
use one-tail test.
Yes, we
not
did.
two-tail test. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next. Megha, Monica, Murali, Neeraj, and Pradhan. The paper is Impact of Operating Efficiency on Profitability of Nepalese Commercial Banks. Alia is absent. So, Anmol, please come front. Anmol, Anis also you come front. Aryan, please come front. Archana is absent. Bandana is also absent. So we are giving more times to the presenter.
Second last.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here with my group member to talk on topic of impact of operating efficiency on the profitability of Nepalese Commercial Bank. Now looking at the introduction, commercial bank is essential to the functioning of the modern economies, facilitating the flow of resources and fostering the economic growth. A robust banking system is fundamental for the development of prosperity of nation, offering a range of service and opportunity to clients. The relationship between the operating efficiency and the profitability in commercial bank remain a subject of ongoing empirical inquiry, highlighting the need for updated resource to inform industry practice and policies. This study aimed to fill the gap in the literature by investigating the impact of operating efficiency on the profitability of a commercial bank in Nepal using recent data, thereby contributing to a deeper understanding of this critical relationship. This study deals with the following issue: how does operating efficiency as measured by the factors such as capital adequacy ratio, operating expenses, and net interest income influence the profitability of Nepalese Commercial Bank, and so on. The major objective of the study is to analyze the effect of operating efficiency on the profitability of Nepalese Commercial Bank, and the specific objective is to examine the relationship of capital adequacy ratio, operating expenses, net interest income, loan to deposit ratio, bank size, leverage with return on equity and return on asset. Now talking about the literature review, according to the Golu Viva and other, in 2019, there is negative relationship between loan to deposit ratio and return on equity. According to the Sina and Sarba, there is larger bank benefit from the economy of scale and diversification, leading to the increased profitability. According to the Rahman 2015, there is positive impact of capital strength, interest income and loan intensity on profitability. And according to the Husna and Sataria 2090, there is negative effect of leverage ratio on firm value. And according to the Shrestha 2020, the management efficiency, asset quality and operating efficiency has significant positive impact on the financial performance of Nepalese Commercial Bank. Thank you. Now for the further presentation, I like to call Murli.
Talking about conceptual framework, the independent variable consists of operating expenses, net interest income, capital adequacy ratio, leverage, loan to deposit, and bank size. Similarly, independent variables consist of return on assets and return on equity. Moving to our resource hypothesis, these are the hypotheses we have included in our study. First hypothesis is there is negative relationship between loan to deposit ratio and bank profitability. There is positive relationship between operational efficiency and bank profitability, and so on. The research methodology, we have conducted our study based on secondary data. We have included 16 Nepalese commercial banks. The study took place in 2015 to 2022. The total number of observations are 112. The sources for our data are annual reports of selected commercial banks, and the research design we followed are descriptive and casual comparative research design. Similarly, the data analysis method we used are descriptive statistics, correlation analysis, regression analysis in order to derive the findings, and the software used is IBM SPSS 16. These are the model specification. ROA denotes to return on assets. Similarly, ROE denotes to return on equity. OE is operating expenses. NII is net interest income. CAR is capital adequacy ratio. LEV is leverage ratio. LTD denotes to loan to deposit ratio. And BS denotes to bank size. And for data analysis, I would like to call Pradhan Sapkota. Thank you.
Thank you, Murli. So I'll be dealing with the descriptive statistics of our research. So here we have our dependent and independent variables, and the average value for return on equity is 13.85% with the standard deviation of 3.57%, and for return on assets is 1.52%, the average value, and the standard deviation is 0.45%. Similarly, the capital adequacy ratio average value is 13.38% with the standard deviation of 1.92, and the operating expenses average value is 2411.76, and the standard deviation is 1411.88, and for the net interest income it is 1.97%, and the standard deviation is 0.991, and for leverage the average value is 89.28, and the standard deviation is 2.37, and for the loan to debt ratio it is 77.31, and the standard deviation is 5.08, and the board size, the average value is 146.17 with the standard deviation of 73.52. And moving onward to the correlation coefficient matrix, we can see that the independent variable ROA and ROE and ROA have positive relationship with one another, and it is very significant. With the capital adequacy ratio, it has a positive relationship with the our dependent variable. Similarly, operating expenses has a negative relationship with our dependent variable, and the net interest income has a positive relationship with our dependent variable, and the leverage has a positive relationship with return on equity, while it has a negative relationship with return on assets. Similarly, the loan to debt ratio has a negative relationship with our dependent variable, and the both sides has the negative relationship with our dependent variable. So for the further, I like to call Megha.
Thank you, Pradhan. Now I'd like to continue our presentation by talking about the estimated regression results of capital adequacy ratio, operating expenses, net interest income, leverage, loan to deposit ratio, and bank size on return on equity. As we can see that the results shows that the beta coefficient for capital adequacy ratio is positive with return on equity. Therefore, it implies that the effect of there is positive impact of CAR with ROE. Similarly, we can see that operation efficiency have negative impact on ROE as beta coefficient of operating expenses is negative. And the net interest income have positive impact on ROE as the beta coefficient of NII is positive with ROE. And similarly, the bank size have negative impact on ROE as the beta coefficient of bank size is negative. And similarly, we can see in table 5, the result shows the 6 independent variables estimated regression result on ROA. And we can see that capital adequacy ratio has positive impact on ROA as the beta coefficient of CAR is positive with ROA. The operating expenses is negative, have negative impact on ROA as the operating expenses beta coefficient is negative. And similarly, we can see that bank size also have negative impact on ROA as the beta coefficient for bank size is also negative. Now to conclude our presentation, I'd like to call Neeraj. Thank you.
A very good morning, one and all presented here. The study showed that the capital adequacy ratio and net interest income have positive effect on return on asset and return on equity of Nepalese commercial bank. However, operating expenses, loan to deposit ratio, and bank size have negative effect on return on asset and return on equity of Nepalese commercial banks. The study concluded that high operating expenses can reduce the overall profit margin of a bank. If a bank is not efficiently managing its cost, it may find it challenging to generate sufficient profit from its core banking activities. Likewise, the study also concluded the high operating expenses put pressure on bank to generate high revenue to maintain profitability. If the revenue generation does not keep pace with the expense, it can result in reduced profit or even into losses. These are the recommendations. The study showed that the capital adequacy ratio and net interest income have positive effect on the return on asset and return on equity of Nepalese commercial bank. Hence, bank willing to increase the level should give the consideration to CAR and NII. However, operating expenses, loan to deposit ratio, and bank size have negative effect on return on asset and return on equity of Nepalese commercial bank. Hence, bank willing to increase ROA and ROE should decrease their stated variable. The selection of variable could affect the significance and insignificance of the result. Need to choose variable precisely. These are the limitations of the study. The study have not considered all the possible independent variable. The study has been done on the basis of quantitative data, put less emphasis on qualitative perspectives. The study relies only on financial accounting reports, which are subject to manipulation as the study is based on secondary data only and does not consider any primary data. The article contains the information only on 16 banks and has only considered the data of commercial bank and has ignored other financial institutions. The study has made no attempt to examine the reliability of the secondary data, hence the validity and reliability of the result are dependent upon the accuracy of secondary data and information published by the sources. The findings of the study could be generalized to manufacturing and trading enterprises because the study is only based on banking sector. Scope for the future study, and thank you everyone for listening. Thank you.
one question from my side.
Theoretically, what is the relationship between these two variables, if there is any?
So,
ROA and ROE. The theoretically भने हो मैले. I don't know. I have no idea. I want to learn from you.
Yeah.
Have you ever come through it when you go for literature?
Yes, ma'am. There is definitely a relationship as our data showed. Yes, ma'am.
Not the
But
data. Theoretically,
yes,
I'm
theoretically
talking about
we haven't
theoretically.
pursued that subject.
Huh?
We haven't seen we only measure the impact between the dependent and independent variable. We didn't look closely into the dependent variable and their relationship itself, but we just stated it here.
Okay, thank you.
One question. One question.
Because we have
Only
time
one
now.
question.
We have time.
Why did you conduct this study?
So basically, we wanted to know how the operating efficiency of a bank would affect the profitability, and how this study can be used by the banks to improve their profitability through improving their operating efficiency.
So you want to know, then you want to suggest to the banks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you have to submit to the bank.
This
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Next, on Mole. The paper is the effect of food quality price, fairness and physical environment on customer satisfaction in fast food restaurants in Kathmandu. The last one is absent. Alia is absent. You have 9 minutes of time to present your paper instead of 7.
Hello, good morning everyone, and thank you all the faculty members, resource person and our coordinators for giving me this opportunity to give this presentation on the effect of food quality, price fairness and physical environment on the customer satisfaction in Kathmandu, fast food restaurants in Kathmandu Valley. And I will start my presentation and
I have a request. Don't use like that, otherwise it will be broken. Okay,
thank you. Okay, ma'am, I'll take care of it. And I'll start the presentation outline. It goes from introduction and until scope for the future research. And in the introduction,
Don't hold it.
okay, I won't hold it. Hu and Zheng examined the satisfaction as the overall evaluation or judgment of customers towards the quality of products offered by the service provider. And satisfaction is a feeling of pleasure as a result of achieving something. It is an action of fulfilling the desires, expectations, and the needs. Customers are always selective, so they compare their expectation about specific products or services, and so on. And here are my research questions, and this research questions deals with the following issues, like what perception of regarding customers satisfaction, what perception and correlation impact of price and other service qualities impact on the customer satisfaction in Kathmandu Valley. For example, there is any correlation of price, product and quality and services with the customer satisfaction in fast food restaurants in Kathmandu Valley, and so on. And I will go to the objectives of study. The major objectives of my study was to analyze the perception of customers regarding price, food quality, service quality, physical environment, and service time. And I will go to the literature review, and starting, I have reviewed under 3 major parts, and the first one goes with the major studies. And in this one, it shows that the Tarn studied in 1999, the major satisfaction of customer has a strongest effect on behavioral intentions followed by the perceived value. And in the review of recent studies, Trip El Tal in 1996, he found that restaurant consumers are born variety seekers, since they experience as well as they need experience as well as food, and they opinionated and may easily tire of the usual choices. And in the review of Nepalese studies, Pandey El Tal in 2010, he studied that there is a direct and positive relationship between service quality and consumer satisfactions. And this is my conceptual framework. And in the independent variables, I have price, food quality, service quality, physical environment, and service time. And my dependent variable is consumer satisfaction. And these are my research hypotheses. Starting from hypothesis 1, there is a positive relationship between the price and consumer satisfaction. And the second hypothesis of my study is there is a positive relationship between the food quality and consumer satisfaction, and so on. And this is my research methodology. And my study was based on primary data. And the data analysis method which I used was correlation analysis and regression analysis. The research design was descriptive as well as comparative design, which attempt to identify the relationships between the independent variables and dependent variables. And while determining the sample size, the total sample size I prepared was 384, and they were dispersed among the respondents, and out of which 300 was collected, and out of which out of 300, 177 questionnaires were rejected due to incompleteness of information, and 123 were used for the study. And this is my in the table for showing the Conbrax alpha with the model specification. And my CS in this specification, the CS refers to consumer satisfaction, PE refers to physical environment, FQ equals to food quality, service quality, SQ for service quality, P for price, ST for service time. And I will go to the data analysis. And this is my Kendall-Stokes correlation coefficient, where it shows the relationship between the variables and independent variables. And for the variables, all of the variables have positive impact, but only the price has the negative impact, as the more the price we have, the less the consumer are likely to be satisfied, because the consumers want the best quality at the lowest price possible. And this table estimates, and in this table it shows the estimated regression result of price, food quality, service quality, and physical environment in Kathmandu. It shows the impact of the independent variables with the dependent variables. And in the major finding, out of 123 respondents, the study showed that there are 67% males and 54 are females, and 2% are others. And the weighted average scales for my service quality is 1.988. The weighted average mean for service time is 1.98. The weighted average mean for the scale of food quality is 1.836. The weighted average mean scale for the price is 7.7. The weighted average mean scale for the physical environment is 2.322, and so on. And I will go to the conclusion. And the major conclusion of this study is that the higher food quality, services and physical environment and service time, the higher would be the consumer satisfaction. And it also shows that the price is negatively correlated with the consumer satisfactions, which means that the increase in price leads to decrease in consumer satisfaction. And for the recommendation, in this study, it found that it has a positive relationship between the food quality and consumer satisfaction. Hence, the food quality service industry are willing to increase the consumer satisfactions, and they should improve their food quality. And they also observed the positive impact of food quality on consumer satisfaction. They also found a positive relationship between service time, consumer satisfaction. Hence, the service industry are willing to increase the service for the consumer satisfaction and maintain their proper service time. And in these studies, I had some limitations, as the data were collected through questionnaires, and the respondents were from Kathmandu Valley. They used mobile phones to give this to respond for in this research. And the study is based on assumptions of linear regression between the dependent and independent variables. Some of the findings of the studies are also not consistent with earlier studies. Therefore, it is worthwhile to note that the nature of data and specification of the models may themselves be responsible for the difference in result. And for the scope of the future, this study has been taken only 123 sample size, and future studies can select larger sample size and greater number of observations. And the study is taken only through primary data as a sample, and it is academians are suggested to take secondary data for the sample for more convenient results. The future study has applied the linear regression model, and the only limit and it has only limited statistical and financial tool, which was SPSS, which we used for finding our results in this research. Thank you so much for your time. And is there any questions, please?
Dependent variable is consumer satisfaction, right?
Yes.
So, how have you measured it?
It will be measured according how much with the reviews which they are providing to the restaurants in which they are going. We are, for example, I studied my I went to Bajak
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question again?
How have you measured consumer satisfaction? What is the methodology?
For example, I studied the consumer satisfaction according with the in the Nepalese context in Kathmandu Valley. People are more likely to have less price. They want more quality and good food in lesser price. So they will be willing to be more satisfied, while the independent variables are directly positive with the dependent in consumer satisfaction.
No, that is another thing. But my question is, how have you measured it? Is this a qualitative variable or quantitative variable?
It is. I kept both neutrally, as if the quality and quantity both are it is according to the individual's choices, and it depends upon people what they choose. They want quality or quantity as well. So I researched I kept both of them in the research.
Okay, thank you.
So this is consumer satisfaction, right?
Yes.
Actually, SAR is not satisfied.
Why?
So, have you used any 4-point scale or 5-point scale or 3-point scale to measure the consumer satisfaction?
No.
Yes, like a scale. Yes. I'm not. Yeah. I am not mentioning liquor
No, sir.
scaled. Yeah.
No, I just
That's why. That's what. And then it will come.
yes.
Then it will come.
They were the customers who were coming to the restaurant.
So have you? Probably he might have asked yes or no. Are you satisfied? Yes or no?
No, I just gave them the questionnaire which I prepared for
Then
this.
what was the question?
I'll show you the questions as well. These are my questions. Like what the questions that were asked were like would food quality, how was the food quality and the physical environment, whether if they were satisfied with the service time.
That's
the
why it
foods.
means that whether you are satisfied means yes or no.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Show me the dependent and independent variable which you have mentioned.
These are the independent and dependent variables. Yes.
So that's why. So he asked me, said, are you happy with the price? Are you satisfied with the price?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with the price which for which you are giving
Yes. So
for the quality?
It means the answer will be either yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, it can go backwards also. They might not be satisfied and they might not be coming or visiting again. Maybe I did. Sorry. Yes, answer yes. It will go up on 0 or more than 0.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But you look amazing.
Thank you so much.
But don't brag it, okay?
Next. Anis. Your paper is Anis consumer preferences of electronic vehicles in Kathmandu.
Our chairperson sir is looking at him how to copy his way of speaking. Okay. Chairperson sir was looking at you and again and again. So he was thinking that how to stand and how to present like you. He's also very stylish. Have you observed?
Good morning, everyone. It's me, Anis Pokhrel. Today I am here to give a presentation on consumer preference for electric vehicle in Kathmandu. Here's the presentation outline. From the introduction to scope for future research. Introduction. As we know, people are shifting towards the electric vehicle instead of fuel vehicle. According to the George Jensen, the automobile industry has introduced hybrid cars such as a Honda Insight and the Toyota Prius that maximize the use of combustion energy by integrating with them with electric motors and so on. Here's the research question. What is the perception of consumer on financial attributes, technical attributes, charging availability, social influence, and environment concern for electric vehicle in Kathmandu? Is there any relationship of financial attributes, technical attributes, charging availability, social influence, environment concern with the consumer perception of electric vehicle in Kathmandu, and so on? Here's the objective of study. The major objective of study is to examine the factor that influence the consumer perception on electric vehicle, and the specific objective is to analyze the perception of consumer perception on electric vehicle regarding financial attributes, technical attributes, charging availability, social influence, and environment concern. On the basis of literature review, I have listed 3 categories: major literature review, recent literature review, and applied literature review. Here's the major findings. Lau et al. Says that the financial, technical, and infrastructure attributes are found to be significant impact on EV choices. Here's the major findings. Chen et al. says that the younger male with higher income, a higher number of children who has experience with electric vehicle and generally all sustainable values are positively related with to potential EV adoption and so on. Here's the Nepalese literature. Adhikari et al. 2020 says that in infrastructure policies, economic and technical barrier pose more pressing concern that social barrier and so on. Here's the conceptual framework. There is the 5 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. Independent variable are financial attributes, technical attributes, charging ability, social influence, and environment concern. And there is 1 dependent variable as it is consumer preferences. Research hypothesis. H1 hypothesis says that there is a positive relation between consumer perception and financial attributes and so on. Research methodology. The study based on primary data. The sample of respondents was 128 respondents. The source of data is primary data were gathered from 128 respondents through questionnaire. Research design, descriptive as well as casual comparative research design with in a attempt to identify relation between independent variable and dependent variable, and data analysis method, correlation analysis and regression analysis. Here's the Kornberg alpha. Kornberg alpha says that since the value is higher than 0.7, it shows the consistency between the data and independent variables. Here's the model specification. Determination of sample size says that the population of this study consists of customer who use the electric vehicle. The study is conducted to gather the information from customer regarding their perception on electric vehicle in Kathmandu and so on. Here's the data analysis. Since the table 5 Kendall Tau correlation coefficient matrix shows that there is a positive or negative relationship between the independent variable as it is all positive. Estimated regression result of financial attributes, technical attributes, charging ability, social influence, and environment concern on consumer preference for electric vehicles shows that there is impact between the impact between the dependent variable and independent variable. There is the major findings. Out of 120 respondents surveyed, the majority of respondents, 43% are male, followed by 57 are female. The majority of respondents, 53 constituting 43% are age group of 25 to 35 years, followed by 33 respondents contributing 25.8% in age group of 18 to 24 and 35 to 44, and the rest of respondents is 6.3% are in the age of above 44 years and so on. Here's the conclusion. The major conclusion of this study is that the factor that affect the consumer perception on electric vehicle like financial attributes, technical attributes, charging availability, social influence, and environment concern helps to consumer to identify various factors that affects consumer perception for electric vehicle in Kathmandu. The study also concludes that the charging availability is the most influence factor, followed by the financial attributes and social influences. Here's the recommendation. The study observed positive impact on financial attributes. Hence, to improve the consumer perception for electric vehicle, the company should focus on highlighting cost saving, government incentive, and long-term economic benefit. The study observed a positive impact on financial attributes. Hence, to improve consumer perception preferences for electric vehicle, the company should focus on enhancing technological features, promoting reliability, and ensuring eco-friendly interfaces, and so on. Here's the limitation of study. The data were collected through questionnaire. The study is based on respondents from consumer of Kathmandu. The total number of observation is 120. Smaller sample size might reduce the reliability and validity of study. The study is based on 5 independent variables, only which were considered as one as the literature review, and so on. Here the scope of future research. This study has taken only 120 sample size. The future research can larger. The future study can select larger sample and the greater number of observation for a study that could lead to much more valid prediction regarding consumer perception for electric vehicle in Kathmandu. Future
Okay,
studies can be.
Thank you. It's okay. Anis.
Yes, sir.
Very good. As a student from BBA, you have presented excellently. Just one or two questions.
Yes, sir.
Have you distributed any questionnaire?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On what basis you have distributed the questionnaire, and to whom? Whether those are using the vehicle or randomly you have distributed?
Some are using a vehicle. Some are parents which are using an electric vehicle.
Indirectly there. Okay. Indirectly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all are, I mean to say the 128 you have selected, respondents which you have selected, all are directly or indirectly using the vehicle?
Indirectly. Some are indirectly and some are directly.
Okay. How you have selected them? What is the sampling technique which you have adopted?
Convenience sampling method.
Convenience.
Yes, sir.
How it is majority? Because 57% are females.
Sorry.
How it is majority?
Sorry for the typing mistake.
You are confused between male and female. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Very
you,
good. God bless you. The next is Aryan. Please, Bhavana, Binay, Dawa, and Damdev. Please come front. Naam, Dharamdev. And Aryan, your paper is no. Second last. He is absent. So factors affecting consumers' perception of electronic payment. Okay, electronic payment. Earlier it was electronic vehicle.
Shall I start?
You are from BBA.
Yes. BBA, BI, sir. Navigate the current of change. Electronic payments offer not just transaction but a revolution in how we perceive the financial world. Hello and namaste to all the dignities, respected teachers and my dear friends. It's me, Aryan Maharjan, standing in front of you all to give a presentation on the topic factors affecting consumer perception on electronic payments in the Kathmandu Valley. So let's begin. These are the presentation outlines. Now beginning with the introduction, electronic payments. Full screen is you उसले त्यो छुट्टा थियो त्यही भएर होला सारी भइराखेन त फुल नै छ यो उसले अग्न त्यो हल्ला निकालेको थियो त्यही भएर के भयो तारले गरेर उसले अग्न निकालेको त्यही भएर भयो Papa, अगाडि So beginning with the introduction, electronic payments has become a popular means today for paying for the online purchases made. Electronic payments has taken over the traditional way of payments. The growth of internet has facilitated the popularity of this payment instrument, as electronic commerce has created new financial need in many cases that cannot be efficiently fulfilled by the traditional payment system. Basically, electronic payments can be defined as financial transaction conducted electronically over the internet or other electronic networks. Now, going on to the research questions, this study deals with the following issues. What is the perception of the consumer on ease of use, security, trust, self-efficacy, and reliability, and so on? Now, going on to the objectives of the study, the major objectives of the study is to analyze the factors affecting consumer perception of electronic payments in the Kathmandu Valley. The specific objectives are to analyze the perception of respondents regarding ease of use, security, trust, self-efficacy, and reliability, and so on. Now, going on towards the literature review.
Slow.
Okay,
if you'll
sir.
save time, then more questions will be asked to you.
Okay, sir, I'll be ready for that. Review of literature has been organized as under major studies, recent studies, and Nepalese studies. Here are the tables. Now, going on towards the conceptual framework, the conceptual framework shows the effect of the independent variables on the dependent variables. 5 independent variables were used, which are ease of use, security, trust, self-efficacy, and reliability, and the dependent variable is the consumer perception. Now, the research hypothesis is based on the literature review, which shows the relationship between the dependent and the independent variables. Now, the research methodology, the study is based on the primary data. The sample of respondents were 130. Source of data, primary data were gathered from 130 respondents through questionnaires. The research designs were descriptive as well as casual comparative research design. Data analysis method were correlation analysis and regression analysis. Now, going on towards the coefficient of chronic alpha shows the reliability and validity of the data. Since the chronic alpha is more than 0.7 for each variable, so there is the internal consistency between the statement of the respective variables. Therefore, the data are reliable for the study. Now, these are the model specification of the research. Now, going on towards the data analysis, Kendall-Stowe correlation coefficient matrix shows the correlation among the dependent and independent variables where there is positive relationship or not. The table shows that there is positive relationship between the independent and the dependent variables. Now, going towards the estimated regression results shows the impact of independent variables on the dependent variables. The table shows that there is positive impact of the independent variables on the dependent variable. Now, these are the major findings of the studies. Out of 130 respondent surveys, the majority of the respondents, 52.3%, are male, followed by 47.7% are females, and so on. Now, about the conclusion, the major conclusion of the study shows that ease of use, security, trust, self-efficacy, and reliability has positive impact on consumer perception. Since higher the ease of use, security, trust, and self-efficacy, reliability, better would be the consumer perception. The study also concludes that most influencing factor is reliability, followed by trust, ease of use, self-efficacy, and security that explains the consumer perception. Now, going on towards the recommendation, the study observed a positive and significant relationship between ease of use of electronic payments on consumer perception. Therefore, the increase a better consumer perception, electronic payments companies should constantly provide more ease of use on the electronic payments, and so on. Now, talking about limitations of the study has taken only primary data as sample. Academians are suggested to take secondary data as a sample for more convenient and reliable research. The study is based on the assumption of linear regression between the dependent and independent variables, and so on. Now, for the future scope, this study has mainly considered 5 variables of factors affecting consumer perception. So in the future, the study can be conducted by including other variables like benefits, usefulness, satisfaction, risks, and norms, and so on. Thank you.
Okay, please go to the slide where you have mentioned about the independent and dependent variables. Just elaborate this. what are the independent variables, what kind of question you asked?
So I basically formed a questionnaire which is based on the 5-point Likert scale, and for each independent variables, 5 questions were used representing each independent variables. For just like for the first independent variable, ease of use. So how the first questions can be questions were like, are you familiar with the ease of use of the electronic payments? Are you security? Do you trust about the trust? If you say, do you trust the electronic payments method? And about self-efficacy, how easily are you able to adapt to the electronic payments method, and so on. These were the questions.
Okay. Then have you compared these informations as per the age-wise, gender-wise? That I'm asking.
Yes. Yeah, I have taken a general approach to confining to all the age groups. It's based on all the respondents regarding all the age groups. So how reliable they are with, how familiar they are with the technology, and how efficiently they can use the technology.
Can you differentiate between the independent variables and dependent variables?
Efficient in a sense, how?
Dependent variables and independent variables.
It can be said, for ease of use, it can be like how efficiently a person can use the technology, and consumer perception can be the based on the ease of use, how better the consumer perception is. If a person, say old age person who is just familiar with the technology, can easily
Thank you.
use
Thank you.
Thank
in
you,
fact,
sir.
see, what I remembered, I have never presented a single paper in my graduation level. And if people are presenting, it is excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead. Because see, research is a never-ending process, it's a learning process.
Yes, sir.
If you the thing is that first you are coming front and you are telling and you are discussing, it is an excellent work. Then rest thing will come up later.
Yes, definitely.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Very good. Next. All are smart. All are smart. You are Bhavana. And your paper is Stress Among Undergraduate Pokhara University Business Students of Kathmandu. Stress. You are from BBA?
BI.
BI, okay.
Good morning, honorable dignitaries, faculty members, and everyone present here. Good morning, respected dignitaries, faculty members, and everyone present here. It's me, Bhavana Kharka, standing here to give presentation on the topic Stress Among Undergraduate Pokhara University Students in Kathmandu. Here's the presentation outline. My research topic is based on something that affects many of us. College life can be tough, with lots of deadlines, exams, and expectations. As we go through tough path of higher education, it is necessary to see and grasp the difficulties students face. Roshan Han claimed that stress is the body's non-specific response or reaction to the demand made on it, or two disturbing events in the environment, whereas, according to Myers, stress is a process by which we perceive and cope with environmental threats and challenges, and so on. The study deals with the following issues like what is the perception of student on career problem, time limit, fear of public speaking, financial difficulties, decision-making confusion, and stress among undergraduates of Pokhara University business students in Kathmandu, and so on. The major objective of the study is to examine the stress among undergraduate Pokhara University students in Kathmandu, whereas the specific objective is to analyze the perception of stress among undergraduates regarding career problem, time limit, fear of public speaking, financial difficulties, and decision-making confusion, and so on. Here's the overall research is based on under the 3 literature reviews, that is major literature, recent literature, and Nepalese literature. Table number 1 shows review for major literature. Table number 2 shows review of recent literature. And table number 3 shows review of Nepalese literature. Here's the conceptual framework where I have taken 5 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. The research hypotheses are based on the literature review, which shows that the dependent variable has a positive relationship with all the selected independent variable. Here's the research methodology where I have taken the responses from 139 respondents. Descriptive and causal comparative research design was used to assess the relationship between the dependent and independent variable, whereas correlation and regression analysis was used to analyze the data. Here's the coefficient of Cronbach alpha. The standard size of Cronbach alpha should be more than 0.7. Here in the table, we can see that the value for all the variable of Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7. Hence, the data taken for this study are consistent and reliable. Here's the model specification, which indicates that dependent variable stress among undergraduate is modeled as a function of all the selected independent variable. The next part of the study includes the data analysis. Here we have Kendall-Stark correlation coefficient matrix. Kendall-Stark correlation shows the relationship between the dependent and independent variable. Here in the table, it shows that all the independent variable has a positive relationship with the dependent variable. Next, we have estimated regression result. Regression result shows whether there's a positive or negative impact among the variable. Here in the table, we can see that the regression result of beta coefficient for career problem is positive with stress among undergraduate. It indicates that career problem has a positive impact on stress among undergraduates, and so on. Here's the major finding for the studies. Out of 139 respondents surveyed, the majority of respondents, 50.40%, are male, followed by 49.60% female, and so on. Here's the conclusion for the study. The major conclusion of the study is that the factors that have causes stress among undergraduates, like career problem, time limit, fear of public speaking, financial difficulties, and decision-making confusion, helps the student to identify the specific challenge and develop the coping strategies for more successful academic experience of Pokhara University business student in Kathmandu. The study also concludes that career problem followed by time limit and financial difficulties are the most influencing factor that affects stress among undergraduates. Here's the recommendation for the study. The study observed a positive impact of career problem on stress among undergraduates. Hence, to improve stress level among undergraduates, students should focus on improving career, and so on. Here's the limitation for the study. The study is completely based on the primary source of data regarding the stress among undergraduate Pokhara University students in Kathmandu. Therefore, the reliability of conclusion of the study depends on the accuracy of information provided by the respondents, and so on. Last, we have scope for future research. This study has taken only 139 sample size. The future studies can select larger sample size and greater number of observation for the study that could lead to much more valid prediction regarding the factor affecting stress among undergraduate students in Kathmandu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks to our chairperson because he had transferred this to me. Bhavana,
yes.
Okay, very straightforward question. Are you under stress?
I was when Aryan was presenting.
Is it?
But not now.
Not now. Okay. But everyone is under stress, I think
Yes.
so. Right? It may be positive or negative. Have you gone through that type of stress when you conducted this study?
Yes. then we have to go through again and again for, we have to read that literature review, and we have to
Yes.
follow our supervisors.
Oh, okay.
And they reject our work, and we
Is
redo
it
it.
so?
We redo it again and again until it's completely done.
Okay, so I will request your supervisor not to reject, only to review. Okay. Who is the supervisor? Don't mention his or her name. Okay. So your supervisor was also under stress. Okay. So here, what I didn't see is that whether it was negative or positive stress in your research. Okay. Now you please show that Kendall-Tau's that correlation, that one result. Time is dear, that's why just I'm asking question. Okay. Anyway, anyway, okay. It's okay. Now I remember. It is in my hard disks. Okay. Why did you use Kendall-Tau's correlation?
To show whether there's a positive or negative relationship of dependent variable with all the independent variables.
Why not Pearson's correlation?
In this, we have used primary data. That one method is used for secondary data.
Is it so?
Yes.
Is it so? Then too, why not this Spearman correlation? Have you ever heard about that?
No.
Okay. So it means that when you ask the question now, are you under stress?
Little bit.
No. Question, answer. What was the answer? Your options though, yes or no. This was the answer.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Now you please tell me this one. Only one question. Stress. Okay. One is CP, means
career problem.
Career problem. Now you see with stress and career problem, what is the value? You just show me.
Stress and career problem.
0.382. Okay. Then 2 star marks.
It indicates that the study is relevant at 1%.
Significant. Okay, so you have to show there. All of you, okay, you miss. So you put us under stress. So now, how will you tell to the audience that if the result is 0.382?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. How will you tell? How will you interpret it?
If you look at the table,
yeah, 0.382.
The correlation coefficient between stress and
Career
problem.
Career. Yeah.
CP is
382.
Yes. Now she is asking, how would you interpret this? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How would you interpret?
See, as a researcher, it's not so important to show all this reason. Okay. It is interpretation part. How will you interpret? You are so good. I was looking at you. Okay, sir was saying, when we were like you. Okay, we couldn't present like this now. See? If it is 0.9,
I think that will be significant at 5%.
May not be too.
Actually, are these the values of correlation coefficients or Kendall-Tau? Because Kendall-Tau and correlation coefficients are not the same thing. Is that right? Correlation coefficient and Kendall-Tau are not the same thing. They are different things. So it seems that these values are only the simple correlation coefficient.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah? It means simple means Carl Pearson's formula, right? By applying the Carl Pearson formula, you will get the correlation coefficient between the stress value and the CP at 0.382. I think. I'm not sure.
But sir, she presented so excellently.
Thank
She
you.
presented so excellently. Ati sundar.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
What I was saying is about the saris also here, weak, moderate, and strong. Okay, in that way you can interpret it. Okay?
Thank you.
Next, Binay Chaudhary. Effect of total quality management TQM practices on employees' work-related attitudes in Nepalese commercial bank.
We have only two now. TQM. Oh. TQM, sir. So the quality management.
Respected resource person, session chair, and my dear friends. This is Binay Chaudhary here, and I would like to offer a very warm good morning to you all. Today I am here to give a short presentation about my research topic, and the research topic is effect of total quality management practices on employees' work-related attitudes in Nepalese commercial bank. Okay, let's move to the presentation outline, and it starts from introduction, research questions to the scope for the future research. So while talking about introduction, AI Certified 2015 explained that the philosophy of total quality management is based on the continuous improvement of internal and external operations of service and industrial organizations. It is essential that organizations strive to provide quality services to their clients that exceeds their needs and aspirations. Let's move to research question. This study deals with the following issues. Is there any correlation of top management commitment, employees' involvement, employees' education and training, continuous improvement, and customer focus and employees' work motivation in Nepalese commercial bank? What is the effect of top management commitment, employees' involvement, employees' education and training, continuous improvement, and customer focus and employees' work motivation in Nepalese commercial banks, and so on? Objectives of the studies. The objectives of the study has been categorized in two parts: major objective and a specific objective. The major objective of this study is to examine the effect of total quality management practices on employees' work-related attitudes in Nepalese commercial banks, and the specific objectives are like to analyze the perception of employees' work motivation in relation to top management commitment, employees' involvement, employees' education and training, continuous improvement, and customer focus. To examine the relationship of top management commitment, employees' involvement, employees' education and training, continuous improvement, and customer focus with employees' work motivation, and so on. So let's move to literature review. Literature review has been categorized under three parts. They are review of major studies, review of recent studies, and review of Nepalese studies. Table 1 shows the review of major studies, where Baksa et al. 2020 found that total quality management is significantly correlated with competitive results of an organization. Table 2 shows that review of recent studies. Megawati et al. Found that work motivation has positive and significant contribution to the improving employee performance. Table 3 shows that review of Nepalese studies. Aryal et al. 2022 found that job satisfaction and performance appraisal are the important factors affecting employees' organizational commitment. So let's move to conceptual framework, which is explained by figure 1. In this framework, we see two variables. One is independent variables and dependent variables. The independent variables are top management commitment, employees' involvement, continuous improvement, employees' education and training, customer focus, and the dependent variable is employees' work motivation. So there are altogether 5 research hypotheses, and this hypothesis says that all the independent variables have positive relationship with the dependent variable, that is employees' work motivation. Research methodology. Study is based on the primary data. Sample of the respondents is 130, and source of data, primary data were gathered from the 130 respondents through questionnaire. Research design descriptive as well as causal comparative research design, which is an attempt to identify a relationship between independent variables and dependent variable. Data were analyzed by using correlation analysis and regression analysis. Determination of sample size. There are altogether 130 sample size, and convenience sampling method was used. Table 4 shows Kendall's coefficient of Cronbach's alpha, which shows the reliability and validity of the data. As we can see that the overall value of Cronbach's alpha is 0.939, which is greater than 0.7, which shows the data used in the study are reliable and valid. Okay, model specification. Employees' work motivation is the function of top management commitment, employees' involvement, employees' education and training, customer focus, and continuous improvement. Kendall's tau correlation coefficient matrix is explained by table 5, which shows the relationship between dependent and independent variables. And this table shows that all the independent variables are positively related to the dependent variables. Okay, table 6 shows estimation regression table. This shows the impact of independent variables to the dependent variables, and from the table you can see that all the independent variables have positive impact to the dependent variable. Okay, major findings. Out of 130 respondents, the majority of the respondents, 63.08%, are the males, followed by females, 36.90%. The majority of the respondents, 53.8%, are in the age group of under 20 to 40 years, followed by 24.6% are in the age group 20 years, while 16.2% of the respondents are in the age group 40 to 60, along with 5.54% are in the age group of above 60 years, and so on. Conclusion. The major conclusion of the study is that top management commitment, employees' involvement, continuous improvement, employees' education and training, and customer focus have positive impact on the employees' work motivation. And the study also concludes that the most significant factor that the employees' work motivation in Nepalese Commercial Bank is customer focus, followed by employees' involvement. Okay, there are some limitations of the studies, like the study is predominantly based on primary source of data regarding the effect of total quality management practices on employees' work-related attitudes in Nepalese Commercial Bank. Therefore, the reliability of the study depends on how accurate the information provided by the respondents. The sample size in the study was only from the employees of Kathmandu Valleys. The survey was conducted within the limited respondents, and so on. Recommendations. The study observed a positive impact of top management commitment on employees' work motivation towards Nepalese commercial banks. Hence, Nepalese commercial banks willing to increase employees' work motivation should focus on increasing top management commitment practices in Nepalese commercial banks, and so on. So future scope. The study is only based on the survey of employees inside Kathmandu Valley. Therefore, to incorporate wide geographical character of the respondents, future studies can be carried by extending the survey outside the Kathmandu Valley. This study has taken only 130 sample size, so the new researchers or academicians are suggested to take larger size for the more convenient result, and so on. Thank you.
Okay. Apart from TQM, what other quality mechanism you have studied?
Only total quality management I have studied, sir.
Okay. Do you have any idea on Kaizen, 5S or 7S?
No idea, sir.
No idea. Okay. Acha, no. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our professor is saying that stress is shifted to. Yes.
Dawa. And your paper is long hours effects on work-life balance and satisfaction, a case of Nepalese commercial. Work-life balance is my area.
We have a student called Devalama. She's like her.
A very warm good morning to everyone present here, respected faculty member, program coordinator, and our wonderful dignitaries who are presented here, and all the presenters and my fellow mates. It's me, Dawadul Malama, to talk about my research topic. Firstly, before directly going through my presentation, I would slightly like to talk about my topic. My topic is based on long hour effects on work-life balance and satisfaction, a case of Nepalese commercial bank. As we all know that overtime working hour or long hour effect means the extra hour or an additional hour worked by the staff or employee beyond the standard or regular working time. In the today's world, overtime working hour has become very excessive. Overtime working hour is one of the major factors which affects employee satisfaction. However, overtime working hour has both positive and negative impact on employee satisfaction. Now, moving forward, talking about my presentation outline, it begins from introduction, research questions, objectives of the study, significance of study, and so on to scope for future research. Moving forward, introduction. As I already said, overtime working hour has both positive and negative effect on work-family balance and employee satisfaction. Here are some of the introduction which are introduced by different writers. Now I will be reading out some of the writers. The first one is Yusuf. Yusuf has stated that overtime working hour is an employee's work hour, then the regular working hour, and employees often work overtime to complete the job and achieve company targets, and so on. Now here are the research questions which is based on different field, for example perceptions, impacts, and etc. Now it is one of the major factor of the research project. Without objective of the study, or research is incomplete. The major objective of the study is to examine the long hour effect on work-family balance and satisfaction in case of Nepalese commercial bank. However, the specific objective is to analyze the perception of effect of long hour on work-family balance, satisfaction of Nepalese commercial banks on overtime working hour, work-family balance, leave policy, job stress and mental health, etc. and so on. Here's the literature review. Literature review is based on three measures: review of major studies, review of recent studies, and review of Nepalese studies. Here is the review of major studies. Similarly, table 2 describes the review of recent studies. Similarly, table 3 shows the review of Nepalese studies. Now, figure 1 shows the conceptual framework. Conceptual framework is one of the most important part of the research report. Without finding dependent and independent variable, a research is incomplete. I will be reading out the independent variables, and the first one is overtime working hour, work-family balance, job stress, leave policy, and mental health. However, the dependent variable is employee satisfaction. Now, here are the research hypotheses. So in my case, there is both positive and negative relationship of independent variables and dependent variables. Here is the research methodology, which is based on primary data, and I have collected 128 respondents. And the research design used is causal comparative research, and the data analysis method is used, correlation analysis and regression analysis. Now table 4 shows the coefficient of Cronbach alpha. This table shows that the Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7, which is very consistent and reliable. Here is the model specification. The dependent variable works as the functions of independent variables.
Skip that slide.
Here's the data analysis. Table 5 shows the Kendall correlation coefficient matrix, which shows that there is both positive and negative relationship between dependent and independent variable. Table number 6 shows the regression table. Here it shows the positive and negative impact of both independent and dependent variables. And here are the major findings. I will be reading out some of them. Out of 128 respondent surveys, the majority of respondents, 54.69% are males, followed by females, 45.31%, and so on. Here's the conclusion. The major conclusion of this study is that the factor causes employee satisfaction like overtime working hour, work-family balance, job stress, leave policy and mental health helps the employee to identify specific challenges and develop coping strategies for great work experience and satisfaction in case of Nepal's commercial bank. Similarly, the study also concludes that mental health followed by leave policy, work-family balance are the most influencing factors that impacts the employee of Nepal's commercial banks. Similarly, here are some of the recommendations. The study observed a negative relationship between overtime working hour and employee satisfaction. Therefore, to increase job satisfaction, companies should offer flexible work schedules or alternative work arrangements to accommodate employees' personal needs without relying solely on overtime, and so on. Likewise, here are some of the limitations of this research. These data were collected through using questionnaire. This data is also based on respondents from banks of Kathmandu Valley, and the observance is only 128, and so on. Talking about the future scope, this study can be regarded as the preliminary steps in investing the relationship among employees of Nepal's commercial bank, and also leaves enough ground for future researchers. There are other factors which affect the overall performance of banks, thus the future studies can conclude other variables that will give additional findings of the study, and so on. And here's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Yours area. Work-life balance is very important area, especially for the, sir, please don't mind. Now I'm just considering women. Okay, huh? So, especially for the women, right? Okay, it's very, very important area. And I will tell this story later on if time permits. In my case also, sir knows we are discussing. Whenever my son has exam, always there is a program. Whenever there is birthday of my son or my husband or anniversary, there is always a program, okay, which I cannot avoid, sir. Still, we are united, sir. So now, regarding this presentation, may you kindly tell us what is the working hour of Nepalese commercial banks?
So, according to Labor Working Act, the working hour is based from 7 to 8 hours, 8 hours, and on Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. According to the Labor Act, Nepal.
Nepal.
I'm asking the reality.
Overall. So it depends from country to country.
No. In Nepal, when you went for primary data collection, what 8 found? Not more than 8 hours. So 8 hours is over. So they left the banks.
No, actually the working hour were 8 hours. But many of the employees used to work overtime due to many incomplete work during banks. So that's why I did.
That's why I'm asking you on an average, okay, how much hour had been dedicated by those employees in Nepalese commercial bank?
9 to 10 hours.
9 to 10 hours on an average. Okay. So what was your, if I ask within one sentence that, if I ask that, what was your major findings? Only one major finding.
So basically what I found out was most of the employees were working overtime due to the incomplete and due to employee turnover. Many of the employees were working overtime due to lack of staff in commercial banks.
Why I'm asking so? Long hours affect on work satisfaction, job satisfaction. Someone may want to work 21 hours out of 24 hours.
So ma'am, it basically depends. So if, for example, if any staff is tend to work overtime 10 to 12 hours and if he sees is paid well,
Yes.
and he is also managing work family balance and getting well paid, then he will work there. However, if any staff is working overtime and working to 11 hour 12 hour and not able to manage their work family balance, and still the salary is not paid, then he will not work
That
there.
is a common comment. Okay, just generalization. Have you found any bank which pay more if the employees work more? Work more, pay more. Whether that formula is applied or not.
Yes, there are few banks.
Few banks, na?
Few banks like.
Have you asked to those employees whether they are happy or not?
Some were happy and some were not.
Okay, so that is to be proved by your data.
Yes.
Next time. So I'm just trying to extract it from you. Okay, some work for money, some work for satisfaction.
Yes.
Okay, so it would be very, very good research if you show it here. Okay, in the form of qualitative work, you can do it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You will not understand the reality of work-life balance at this present of time, because you will understand when you will start functioning or start working.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
So see, I published 4 or 5 research articles, and in all the articles I have seen that the women, they suffer a lot.
Yes, sir.
In fact, that is what the outcome of those research. Thank you. At least you have taken a step to work on this area. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dharmadev Rao. Roy. Dharamdev. Your paper is the impact of technology, innovation, and research and development on farms' performance in Nepalese service sector.
Good morning to everyone. It's me, Dharmadev Roy, going to present on my topic, impact of technology, innovation, and research and development on farms' performance in Nepal service sector. This is our presentation outline, which are dealing to me. This is the introduction part. Social media can even be developed by small and medium-sized enterprises due to its low cost and minimal technical requirement. Social networking sites are therefore perceived as an electronic marketplace where business and customer interact, and so on. Research question. This study deals with the following issues. What is the perception of knowledge, technology, adoption rate, innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, employee training in technology, and firms' performance? Is there any correlation of knowledge, technology, adoption rate, innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, and employee training in technology with firms' performance in Nepal service sector, and so on? Objective of the study. Objective of the study categorized in 2 major parts. First one is major objectives, and second one is specific objectives. Major objectives: to analyze the impact of technology innovation on firms' performance in Nepal service sector. A specific objective: to analyze the perception of firms' performance in relation to knowledge, technology adoption rate, innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, and employee training in technology, and so on. Literature review. Literature review categorized in 3 major parts: review of major studies, review of recent studies, and a review of Nepalese studies. Table 1 shows review of major studies, and table 2 shows of recent of studies. Table 3 shows review of Nepalese study. Figure 1 conceptual work, conceptual framework. Conceptual framework categorize independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable is technology adoption rate. innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, employee training in technology, and dividend variable is firm's performance. Research hypothesis shows the positive relationship of all in dividend variable. And the research methodology, study based on primary data. Sample of respondent is 132 respondent. Resource of data, primary data were gathered from the 132 respondent through questionnaire. Research design descriptive as well as causal comparative research design, which is an attempt to identify a relationship between an independent variable and dependent variable. Data analysis method, correlation analysis and regression analysis. Determination of sample size. The total population for this study, people who are employees of Nepal service sector. When the population is unknown, generally the formula estimated the sample size can be used by the formula given by Cohen and so on. Coefficient of Cronenberg alpha, we can see all the dependent variable and independent variable is more than 0.77. So each variable shows the reliability. Model specification, firm's performance is functionally dependent variable, technology adoption rate, innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, employee training in technology. Data analysis, Kendall's correlation coefficient, which shows the dividend variable and dividend variable of relation each other. We can see the stick sign, double stick sign and single stick sign indicates that the results are significant at 1% and 5% levels respectively. Estimated regression result of independent variable with dividend variable, which shows on this figure. Major finding, out of total respondent, the majority of respondent 59.09% were male and the rest were female, 40.91%. The majority of the respondent 30.03 are the group of 26 to 30 years, followed by the 36.36% are in the age of between below 25 years, while 21.97% of the respondents are in the age group between 31 to 35 years. Along with this, 11.36% are in the age group of 41 and above, and so on. Conclusion: the major conclusion of the study is that technology adoption rate, innovation investment, market competition, regulatory environment, and employee training in technology have positive impact on firms' performance. The study also concludes that employee training in technology followed by regulatory environment is the most significant factor that explains the impact of technology innovation on firms' performance. Limitation: therefore, the reliability of the result of the study depends on how accurate the information provided by the respondent. The sample size in this study was only from the employees of Nepal service sector, and so on. Recommendation: the study observed a positive relationship technology adoption rate and firms' performance. Hence, to enhance firms' performance should focus on high standard technology adoption rate system. The studies show a positive relationship innovation investment and firms' performance. Hence, to enhance firms' performance should focus on employee training of technology exchange among the employees, and so on. Future scope. This study include the data of service sector only, consultancy institution and financial institution are not taken into consideration for the study. Hence, the further future study can be carried out by including consultancy institution and financial institution. Two, the study is based on the survey of banks inside Kathmandu Valley, and so on. Thank you. Thank you.
Last हो.
Sir, आप last.
आप senior most.
Actually, I have to repeat it again that I am not a management student. So
all the management subjects, management, mathematics, all starts from economics. Economics is the front line, which is in the front line.
So I don't.
Finance comes from economics. Mathematics comes from economics. Management comes from economics.
Not all. So
It's a grandparent, sir.
okay, what I am trying to say is that the variables that you have included in all of your model, whether they are theoretically justified or not, that I don't know, right? Because you have talked about motivation, perception, and etc. And all of those variables sound like qualitative variables to me, right? Is that right? If they are qualitative variables, how would you define and how would you measure all those variables? That is my basic question. So since I am not from management, I am not going to ask any question, or I don't have any query about the management, the terms relating to management. But I may have some queries about the statistics that you have used and the research methodology, right? So first of all, when you do any research, you have to define your variables and explain about the measurement of all those variables, right?
Yes, sir.
Unless you do that, you cannot apply all the statistical tools in all models, right? So which model you want to apply, that depends upon the measurement scale of the variables. Is that right? So first of all, you have to define the variables explicitly and explain about the procedure of the measurement of the variables, which I did not find over here because it is a very short time span, and all the research works that have been presented here, I don't say that this is the presentation of the papers. This is not the presentation of the research papers. This is the presentation of the research works, because we have not got any research papers over here. So I hope that you have explained, or you have or you will explain about all those procedures in your paper when you finally submit it as your regular coursework, for degree seeking or publishing. You must do that, right? All the variables should be defined properly and the measurement of the variables should be explained. And you choose the appropriate statistical tool to estimate your model. And besides that, especially the students of BBA BI, all of them have talked about Cronbach's alpha. I don't know whether all those values are required in your research or not, because all the tools that you have learned, because all the tools that you have learned in your student life may not be required in your research, right? The objective of your research guides which tool to use and which tool needs not to be used, right? And most of you have also talked about Kendall's tau, right? What I feel is that that is only the correlation matrix. Is that right? Because if you ask the computer about the descriptive statistics and especially the correlation matrix, it always gives you the correlation matrix. The values always should lie between -1 and 1, right? And here also I see the same value, but you have been talking about Kendall's tau, right? Kendall's tau is not the same thing as the correlation matrix, right? Correlation matrix gives us the values of the correlation coefficient that have been used by applying the Carl Pearson's formula, right? Which we call the simple correlation coefficient, right? Kendall's tau is something different from correlation value, right? So I hope that you will explain in your paper, not especially you, but all of the students, especially BBA, BI students, right? Right? So when you finalize your paper, please pay attention on this, right? Only include the materials and the tools and techniques that are required in your paper, right? As per your objectives of the study. So that is all what I have to say now.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything from your side?
Feeling stressed, so tired.
So shall we complete this session today, right now?
We can give some observations.
Okay.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. I have been sitting for a long time. I think, let me stand. Yeah, okay. I am also under stress, you see, because of this long time sitting, sir. So, respected chairperson of this technical session 5, our Professor Kanel sir, our colleague, our Pronoy sir, all the paper presenters, all the supervisors who had supervised the students, preppers, and all the students of Uniglobe College. Thank you, Chairperson sir, for giving me this opportunity. So let me just give the remarks as Kanel sir had already told you. First of all, I would like to appreciate you. You have done well, okay? But just you need little bit refine, I will say that. It's okay. But some papers were there, which would be very beautiful, I will say, if you used the qualitative method of data analysis instead of quantitative data analysis. And some of the papers were there, yes, you need to apply the quantitative data analysis. One observation is also there that you use all the statistical tools and the techniques. You saw the tables. It's okay, fine, at this point of time. As a researcher, what is the main important area is how to interpret those results. Okay? Because you are trying to give some suggestions or recommendation to the policy planners or to the students or to the stakeholders of the society, right? Right or wrong? Then to what is the need for research? Then to when you say this correlation, result is this, t-test result is this, regression result is this, they will not understand. Okay, you have to interpret. So, I hope in the future, you will incorporate all those things. Okay? You are quite advanced in nature, and you should be also. You should be. Otherwise, we cannot claim that Uniglobe is a progressive or organization, or it is in progress. We cannot say. Then my last observation is that the conference itself is innovative and technology. You have applied technology. But I wish some innovation should be there from the papers. Because for the last so many years, I have been attending the Uniglobe conference, right? So I have been experiencing the same way of paper presentation, the same way of research, right? So hope in the next conference, you will show, whether I may come or may not come, you will show some innovations in your paper with this expectation. So wish you all the very best and wish you for your future endeavor. Thank you very much.
Actually, I said whatever I had to say, but anyway, since the chairman gave me this microphone, I have to add something, or I want to add something. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the students who presented their research work, not paper, not research paper, but research work at this meeting hall. So I would like to congratulate all of you and want all of us give them a big applause. And I shared something especially to the BBA and BI students, and that also applies to the students of MBA, because I see some MBA students over here who are my past students, and now currently they are also my students. And what they should do is that whenever they do any empirical research, you know about the assumptions of OLS, because all the studies are based on ordinary least squares. Is that right? Whether it is BBA or MBA students, right? BBA students have not, I think, studied, have not been taught about the assumptions of OLS. Have you been taught about the assumptions? BBA student la maile sodhe hai, BBA BI la. No? Yes or no? No. So BBA students have not been taught about the assumptions of OLS. So they can skip other, let's say, tests in the regression. But master level students are taught about the assumptions of ordinary least squares, and they are applying, or they have applied ordinary least squares in their models. So what will happen if any of the assumption is violated? And I found that none of the researchers has discussed about the violations of any of the assumptions. They have not tested about either multicollinearity or autocorrelation or heteroscedasticity or the normality of the error terms. Nobody has done that. So especially master level students should do that, or they should include these relevant tests on these topics, right? If the time series data, if you are using time series data, you must test for autocorrelation, right? You must test for autocorrelation. If the autocorrelation is present, then you have to apply the remedial measures and then re-estimate the model. So this suggestion is only for the master's level students, because the bachelor level students have not studied about those topics. So besides that, research is a continuing process, right? And there is always a room for refute, because every scientific research is refutable, right? It is not always true. It may not be always true. It can be refuted any time. That is why it is a scientific research, right? So there should always be a room for refutation in every scientific research. Therefore, you should try your best to find out the best result, right? But it may not be true all the time, because all the theories don't live last, right? Right? Someone will find any error or weakness in any theory. That is how new theories develop, right? Otherwise, if the theories are always correct, then new theories will never develop, will never emerge. Therefore, this is the process of research methodology. Okay, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. In this technical session 5, altogether out of 15 papers, 12 papers were presented. I congratulate all the 12, it's not 12, in fact more than 12 presenters are there. My observation is that all the papers are, the structure of the papers are similar. Similar in the sense, in the same way it started and in the same way it ended. At the time of review of literature, 3 stages are there. At the time of hypothesis, I saw similar kind of hypotheses are given. I don't know whether the numbers which are there in the table, these are same or not. But the sample what you have taken, 128, some have taken 127 or 120, mostly similar. So see, my observation or my advice is that as all of you are from MBA and BBA students, all of you are. So my advice is that it is not always necessary to do the research by applying some statistical tools. Research can also be done, the theoretical research you can also do. That is what is the beginning of the research. You should study the theory, then you should start with the statistical tools. Statistical tools, what you have applied, the correlation coefficient, these are the things we have applied. Apart from that, you can, if you are applying, you can go with ANOVA, chi-square, z-test, f-test, those things can also be applied. Then another is that before doing the research work, do a pilot survey, so that it will give quality research. Another is that in the questionnaire, always the students, those who have distributed the questionnaire and the respondents are mostly the customer or the students, try to put different mechanism, just scales. Like one is that all of you have done a rating scale, ranking scale. You start with ranking scale, so that ranking is it is better and it is easy to understand, so that you can learn the practice. Then you can go with some other thing. Thank you. I wish you all the best. My best wishes. Now I hand over the mic to Pranay sir.
Thank you so much, sir. And congratulations all the 12 presenters, 12 group, and more than 12 presenters who have presented in this technical session 5. I congratulate you all on behalf of Uniglobe College. Now it's time to give the certificate to the presenters. And first, I like to request the today's session chair, Dr. Sujit sir, to be over from front and the dais and distribute the certificate. I'll call out the names. Okay, the first group to receive the certificate who have presented are Abhishek Shrestha, Vivek Wagle, and Deepak Lama.
It's okay. My turn will be coming, don't worry.
Please give a big round of applause. And the second group, Akriti Devkota, Anuka Khatri, Astika Mohato, Bina Regmi, Deepak Kumar Khatri. And the third group are Ritika Gurung, Rekha Upreti, and Riya Shrestha. And the fourth group are Amrit Karel, Ashiana Karki, Asta Keshi, and Ayush Dahal. Thank you, Sujit sir. Now I'd like to invite the first resource person of Technical Session 5, Professor Dr. Chana ma'am, to be the certificates. Let me call out the names. Megan Khateota, Monica Bhatta, Murli Mohanar Saha, Neeraj Bhagati, Pradyum Safkota. Mega, Monica, Murli, Neeraj, Pradyum. Then Murli, then Neeraj, then Pradyum. Anmol Bandari, Anis Pokhrel, Aryan Mahajan, Bhavana Khadga. Thank you, Chana ma'am. Now I'd like to invite second resource person, Navraj Karel sir, to distribute the certificates. Vinay Chaudhary, Dhaba Dolma Lama, Dharamdev Roy. Thank you, Nauraj sir. Now it's time to distribute and our session chair and resource person of technical session 5. And for this, I'd like to invite Professor Dr. Radhesham Pradhan sir, the chairperson of this technical session, chairperson of this conference. First, I'd like to, can I have your attention please? Excuse me all, can I have your attention? Now we are going to distribute the certificate and token of love to the chairperson of today's session, Sudhit Kumar Acharya sir. Now we are going to distribute the memento to the first chairperson, first session person, resource person of today's session, Dr. Chanu ma'am, with memento and certificate. Now it's time to honor our second resource person of technical session 5, Navraj Kadal sir with memento. Thank you, Radhesham sir. Well, this is the end of this technical session. Thank you all. Shortly, we will have our validity session. I request everyone to be in hall. Thank you. Cameraman Dai.
कसको दिन भएको छ ए हो 9 जना मात्र राख्नु कसको राख्ने भन्नुभएको थियो त्यही मात्र राख्नु त्यही त त्यो कसको निकाल्ने कतिवटा
धीमहि Please, I've got you. Please be assured I'm here. Please stay in waiting room. Son.
attention here, please. Good morning and namaste, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ramesh Rawat, Research Faculty of Uniglobe College.
Honor to serve you as a master of ceremony for this validatory session.
Okay, it's bring me great joy to extend a warm welcome to all the esteemed dignitaries, special guests, guests of honors, faculty members, extraordinary students, and the management team gathered here for the 12th Uniglobe International Management Conference on the theme of Research, Innovation and Technology in Business, organized by Uniglobe College. During this conference, we have had the opportunity to address the changing perspective and emerging issues in the field of accounting, marketing, finance, human resource management, organizational behavior, corporate governance, and so on. We have heard from distinguished speakers who have shared their valuable insights and experiences with us. We have had the chance to network and meet researchers and industry professionals from various countries, making this conference a truly an international experience. Now, in order for the session to commence towards seat-taking ceremony, firstly, I would like to take an honor to welcome Professor Dr. Radheshyam Pradhan sir, Academic Director of Uniglobe College. Please kindly accept the seat of conference chair. Similarly, I would like to welcome our chief guest, guest of honor, Dr. Dayaraj Dhakal, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, Pokhara University, Nepal, to take his seat in the dais. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Likewise, I would like to welcome our special guest, guest of honor, Professor Dr. Deepak Raj Paudel, Chief Planning and Program Division, Pokhara University, Nepal, to take his seat in the dais. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Moving ahead, I would like to take a moment to welcome guest of honor, Professor Ibemcha Chanu, Head and Dean, Faculty of Management, Bodoland University, Kakarjar, Assam, India, to kindly take her seat in the dais. Please welcome her with a huge round of applause. Similarly, moving forward, I would like to take an honor to welcome guest of honor, Dr. Vikas Kumar Jaiswal sir, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Commerce, Banaras Hindu University, to take his seat in the dais. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Similarly, continuing the seat-taking ceremony, may I please invite Dr. Narabahadur Bista, Principal of Uniglobe College, to take his seat in the dais. Moving ahead, I would like to take a moment to welcome Dr. Gangadhar Dahal, Executive Director of Uniglobe College, to take his seat in the dais. Moving forward, I would like to take an honor to welcome guest of honor, Dr. Ashish Kant Chaudhary, Assistant Professor, Banaras Hindu University, Department of Commerce, Banaras, India, to take his seat on the dais. Moving forward, I would like to take an honor to welcome guest of honor, Dr. Sulochana Das, Academic Consultant DDCE, Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, India, to take her respective seat. Looking forward, I would like to call upon guest of honor, Professor Dr. Ajay Bikram Sthapit Sir, Faculty, Uniglobe College, to take his respective seat. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Similarly, I would like to call upon guest of honor, Dr. Navraj Kanil Sir, Faculty, Uniglobe College, to take the respective seat. Similarly, I would like to call upon guest of honor, Professor Dr. Kamal Maiya Pradhan, to take a respective seat. Dr. Kamal Maiya was the professor at Tribhuvan University, Trichandra College, Kathmandu, Nepal. I would also like to request all the other dignitaries, special guests, member of the management team, faculty, media representatives, and all attendees, including students, to kindly take their seats. Similarly, I would also like to request the volunteers to honor our dignitaries on the stage with the bouquet, khada, and shawl. We would like to offer a Nepali traditional cap to our male dignitaries and Nepali shawl to female dignitaries.
हजुर अब म प्रिन्सिपल सरलाई बोलाउँछु होइन त्यसपछि अन्त बोलाइहाल्नु लाइनमै छ तिनीहरू है
लाइनमा तिनीहरू भन्नाले पहिला ऱ्याडो त्यसपछि एउटा स्टुडेन्ट बोलाउँछु त्यसपछि फेरि त्यो जिनलाई बोलाउँछु त्यसपछि फेरि कृपालाई बोलाउँछु त्यसपछि फेरि त्यसको एलिनालाई बोलाउँछु त्यसपछि चाहिँ आफ्नो तरिकाले जान्छु
ल
टेन्सन हुन्छ यार यसरी तलमाथि गर्दै भने
नहीं नहीं ला ला
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Now moving ahead with the today's valedictory session. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the very dynamic personality of Uniglobe College, Dr. Narbahadur Bishta sir, for his welcome remarks.
Okay. Respected conference chair and chairperson of this validity session, Professor Dr. Radheshyam Pradhan sir, our honorable, very specially invited chief guest, Dean of Faculty of Management Studies, Pokhara University, Dr. Dayaraj Dhakal sir, our respected special guest of this validity session, Professor Dr. Deepak Raj Paudel sir, Chief Planning and Program Division, Pokhara University, the dignitaries on the dash, dignitaries of the dash, their executive staff members of Uniglobe College, all the staff members of Uniglobe College and their students, good morning to all of you. Today, we are about to celebrate this validity session after completing all the technical sessions of this 12th Uniglobe International Management Conference. We have presented more than 140 papers of more than 200 participants inside and outside the country, and the dignitaries from outside country also presented their research papers. Among them, our students were the point of attractions of the presentations, because our very dignified personalities, the distinguished personalities appreciated their papers, way of paper presentation, the methodology they have followed during the research duration. The resource persons, chairpersons from outside the country and inside country, all have appreciated our students' papers. Not only way of their presentations are the eminent one, the research inputs or the research outputs are also very appreciable. They have followed all the research methodologies and everything. So on behalf of the college management as well as by myself, I would like to congratulate you all for your presentation of the papers and receiving the certificates on this special occasion. So the Uniglobe College has a tradition to conduct this international conference, which has become very popular not only in Nepal but in other countries as well. Yesterday, the resource persons from outside country, Bangladesh, USA, Slovenia, Finland, France, also given us the best wishes to the success of this international conference. And more than 15 foreign delegates are physically present to participate in this international conference. And on behalf of the college management and myself, I would like to extend our hearty thanks to them and for spending their times. Our very dignified personalities, yesterday Vice Chancellor sir, Registrar sir, today as the chief guest, our Dean sir, our planning chief sir as a special guest are here. They have spent their valuable times despite of their very, very busy schedule. So we are very grateful to all of the dignitaries who are present here. Our own faculty members, our own dedicated staff members were involved to do this conference very successful. So I would like to thank all of the participants or the dignitaries from inside and outside the country. So this is the validity session. It is going to be delivered by different dignitaries, how we conduct it, what kinds of experience they have during their study at Uniglobe College. They will express their views. And finally, once again, welcome to all of you in this validity session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Sir, for a wonderful word and feedback. So moving forward, now it's time to listen from guest of honor, Professor Rado Bonic, PhD Faculty of Science, Social Science from Slovenia, who attended our last year conference physically, but this year he could not make it physically, though he was very much willing to attend physically. However, he is present here on online mode. So I request Professor Rado Bonic to share some of his insightful word with us. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity to say a few words at your eminent traditional conference, 12th Uniglobe International Management Conference, organized by Pokhara University